Welcome to the Dojo Talk Podcast. Please remove them shoes before entry. Sam Master is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes.
Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Look into the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
Welcome to another edition of the Dojo Talk Podcast. It is episode number 48. On another bright and sunny Sunday. Woke up coughing this morning. That's always nice. Back with my co-host, the Anti-Cool. What's going on, man?
I am very sick.
It's spreading.
And I'm about to go stand in the sun for like 4.5 hours, so that's gonna be fun.
Oh Lord. What's the weather? I didn't check what the temperature's supposed to be today.
It's gonna get close to 90.
Oh.
It's fall. It started like 3 days ago.
It got delayed.
Equinox is bullshit.
Oh man, yeah. If we I've been coughing this morning. Yeah, you're sick, so we both might cough and just die on air. So if that happens, somebody render this audio somehow after we die, and we can get like the highest rated episode ever. We won't be alive to see it, but
also please click in the description where you'll find GoFundMe links
right.
for our funerals.
Right, because dying is expensive. But I'm going to try to make it through this podcast without coughing up a lung, falling over. But yeah.
I got the mute button in my hand.
I have nothing. So I'm going to try not to cough into the mic. I don't want to contaminate my microphone. But anywho, another weekend of fights. There were a lot of fights this weekend. I didn't realize like how many cards were on, but
oh yeah, no, it was action packed.
Yeah, it was a lot going on.
Especially considering literally nothing's happening next week. well, not nothing, I should say, but like next to nothing.
What is the next? Actually, you know what? I'll get into that later. I can't remember what the next card is. But
UFC 216.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that is coming.
And there's a Bellator 184, I think, on the 7th
Right.
or the 6th. I can't remember.
So a mini break. Actually, that's good because I start my vacation when that Bellator card starts. So awesome.
Nice.
I'm waiting for that day. But yeah, man, we had UFC Fight Night 117 go down. Bellator 183 happened. LFA had a card. We had boxing fights. M1. Everybody was getting knocked out everywhere.
ACB, Joe Schmo, at like Hooters or whatever. I'm sure there was a fight at Hooters somewhere.
Right. I've never been to a Hooters, actually, now that I think about it.
It's exactly what you think it is.
Mediocrity?
Yeah.
I figured.
Mediocrity and very pervy middle-aged men.
Yeah, see, I don't... Yeah. Also, a quick note, I didn't know last night, or somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, because my friend, shout out to my homie Davon, who had mentioned to me, like, there was a Bellator kickboxing card last night.
Yes.
And I'd had no idea that was on. But, like, I guess it's playing on tape delay?
Next week, yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's the idea. Nobody seems to know. And it's really weird, because, like, the kickboxers don't even know. People were asking, like, Joe Schilling, like, when he was going to be on TV, and he was like, yeah, I have no idea. He was really upset about it, too.
I would be, too. And it kind of sucks, because, like, I don't have it pulled up in front of me now, but I remember I looked at the lineup last night, and, like, there were some, like, legit people. Like, Kevin Ross was on there, Schilling was on there, Raymond Daniel was on there.
Jarena Bars was on there.
Yeah, Jarena Bars was on there, which is somebody everybody should see. And it's like, you have all of these really good names on this card, but, like, there's no promo, there's no...
You know what's really fucked up, too? You know what? Bellator aired their prelims on Twitter last night, like Showtime did from the Broner fight.
Yeah.
So they had my thought process was, oh, I guess they're going to do the 4-fight main card, and they're going to have Aaron Pico on the prelims. No, he fought on the main card, in the second fight on the main card. So the Twitter fights were literally headlined by Tony Johnson and Mike Ortega.
Shout outs to them though. It's a good KO.
No sauce, but like I'd rather have seen Joe Schilling, Jarena Barrs, and Kevin Ross. You know,
right? Yeah, like that would have been a good way to.
And apparently, it got like 75,000 people to watch, at least according to the stream. So,
yeah, I mean, I watched some of the prelims and some. Well, the only two that stuck out was the Tony Johnson, and then I watched the Gaston Balanos fight.
Yeah, the one they aired on the broadcast after. Yeah,
but it's like, yeah, if you're gonna do this kickboxing thing, and you have like legit names, you have to put these people out there. Like you have to put these people out there. But I don't know. Maybe by the time this tape delay rolls around, I don't know. Maybe they'll have some. I don't know.
And here's the thing: it's not like they can't do both. You know, like they can't do like it's not like they can't do the thing on Twitter, and they air it next week on TV. Because it's going to pull the same number. It's going to pull like 500, 650,000 people.
All right.
Because anybody who actually cares about the damn fights are going to read the results today. So, it's not mind-boggling. It's just upsetting. Because...
it's Bellator.
Yeah.
That's what it is in a nutshell. But... yeah, I guess today mainly we're going to cover UFC Fight Night 117, Japan, and Bellator 183. So let's kick it off with this UFC card, which was pretty interesting. At least the main card. I can't speak on a lot of the prelims. But anywho, this main event, which had me scratching my head as soon as I saw the matchup, but we'll get into that. Card was headlined by Ovince St. Preux and Yushin Okami. This is at light heavyweight, which Okami's been in 3 different weight classes now, but he's been fighting at 170. How that's been happening, I don't even know. But he's been a welterweight for like the last few years. But he came up to 205 to meet Ovince St. Preux. Not a lot to talk about in this fight other than St. Preux once again doing the it might as well be called the Von Preux choke now, because he's just seemed like he just does it when he wants to. And yeah. Like this fight literally was Okami shooting for a takedown, not getting it, kind of like pulled the half guard. St. Preux just kind of advanced position. At one point, Okami goes for guillotine, which knew he wasn't going to get. And like right at that moment, Ovince just kind of like clasped his hands and behind Okami's neck, and then he just kind of put that, I guess it would be like shoulder pressure, until Okami just kind of went limp, and that was it. That was the entire fight. There was not a whole lot to digest, not a whole lot to take in. I didn't think Okami was going to shoot for a takedown that quick.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it would have stayed on the feet just a bit more, but I don't know. Didn't go well.
The last time he stayed on the feet was like a big, strong dude who was bigger than him. Well, not bigger than him, but like could hit harder than him. Was like Jacare.
Yeah,
and that didn't end well for him.
Yeah,
so
that did not.
I think Okami thought he was going to be able to like wear on Ovince St. Preux even if he didn't get the takedown. I don't think he accounted for the fact that St. Preux was like 10 times stronger than him. And that was like a really bad takedown.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I was thinking he would like use his hands maybe just to set up a takedown, like maybe just like a quick slip a jab or something like that, and then just maybe even like going for underhooks but yeah, it just looked kind of sloppy.
Yeah, he was from way out, like not even the same area code type, but like single leg really. Because it was like a dive, like it was supposed to be like a double leg, but he only ended up grabbing one leg.
he paid for it. So yeah, I'm not sure what Okami's future is at 205. I guess didn't really
non-existent.
Yeah, I don't, it's like we kind of didn't see anything, but on the same token, I'm like I'd rather you probably just go back to 185. Well, I don't know. Probably not a lot of easy fights waiting for you down there either, but I don't know. It was just weird seeing him at 205.
You can go down to 170.
I guess.
go fight Damian Maia or something.
Yeah. I guess for OSP, I mean, awesome win. Not a lot of people are just pulling Von Flue chokes out of the air like this dude just like that's just his thing now. But from what I heard after the fight, he still does want the Shogun rematch, which I'm vehemently against. But
I get why he wants it.
Does it really do anything though? Like,
gets him a win.
I mean, yeah.
like again, what is Shogun ranked? Like number 6,
no,
number 5?
He's 5 now. I've got the rankings up. He's 5 now, and OSP is 6. So
exactly. There we go.
2017, Shogun is officially top 5, dead or alive, light heavyweight in the UFC. So I mean, yeah, I guess if OSP wants that rematch, I mean, yeah, why not? I'm not excited about it, but it's 205. What are you gonna do? What do you want from me? So I guess I'm not too mad at it. I guess.
I really wanted Yushin Okami to jab and clutch his way to victory, just so we get Yushin Okami versus like Gustafsson.
That's what I said. Like, I didn't think he was gonna shoot so fast. Like, I thought he would just use the hands. I mean, he's not like a world class striker or anything, but like he's competent at least. I was thinking like, maybe he'll just, he'll pity pat from outside and just kind of be one of those like grueling fights where he just kind of leans on him and just tries to wear him out. But yeah, he did not turn out well. So I mean, I guess OSP Shogun's gonna happen. Because Manua is tied up right now.
Is he tied up or is he still unconscious? Oh, he's fighting Glover, right?
He's fighting. Is it Glover? He's fighting somebody. I feel like I'm pretty sure he. Oh no. There are rumors of him fighting somebody, I think, but I don't know if it's concrete. Well, I think according to him, he has a fight, but I don't remember who. You know what? Let me stop.
Hey, was it that Polish dude?
Oh yeah. That you're right. Whose name I cannot remember and probably can't pronounce.
Yeah. He's fighting on the Polish card against that guy.
Yeah. So yeah.
Masiliala.
So that fight's happening. I forgot. Ozdemir, does he have a fight?
No, not yet.
Kind of wild they just got him floating in the ethos somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. 205 just continues to be a weird, just
bad.
It's such a bizarre division. Every time I think of 205, I feel really bad for Cormier. I don't know. Yeah, Ozdemir does not have a fight lined up. But yeah, so yeah, that was pretty much the main event. To be honest, there's not a whole lot to really dissect there. Except Ovince St. Preux is the new owner of the Von Flue choke, and
this is really like a throwback Japan card, where you got like one guy moving up 2 weight classes.
Right.
You got Takanori Gomi. You got a world class kickboxer fighting a mediocre MMA fighter.
Hey man, Japan gonna Japan.
Yeah. And
this crowd, which I'll wait until the aforementioned fight that I noticed it in. But this co-main event, though, I guess just moving on. I feel like there's a little bit to dissect here. This fight was pretty. I can't say I was shocked. I don't really know what the word is to describe this. It was just really.
I was awe.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, like. So co-main event was Jessica Andrade and Claudia Gadelha. I mean, if you've been watching Andrade for a while, you know ever since she's came down to 115, she's just been, aside from the fight with Jędrzejczyk, she's just been slaughtering everybody she's fought. But we all know, like, Claudia is like, she's like the Cormier. Well, I guess you can't say that because Cormier's champ now, but pre-John Jones steroid bust. You know, she was like that clear-cut number 2 that it just seemed like nobody was going to beat her. Like, she was just way too well-rounded. The wrestling would be too much. But, man, Andrade got busy. Andrade got real busy, man. And not to take away from Claudia's performance, because, like, she started off the fight really well. Because the fight started off pretty much them trading shots on the feet. And Gadelha seemed like a lot more crisp, a lot more accurate. She was landing some pretty hard shots. Even though like Andrade was still plotting forward, Claudia seemed like she was getting the better of the exchanges. But my God, man, when that grappling came into play, and you just see this, Andrade just has this strength that's just like not human. The way she can just bully people. And
relative to her division, I don't think there's anybody stronger than her. Like man or woman in the UFC. Like relative to everybody else in her division, she's the strongest fighter in the UFC.
Man,
like Alir Latifi, Brock Lesnar, maybe. But like Andrade just seems like somebody who could like pull off, like go to one of those like strongest woman competitions and just like do work.
Right. Yeah, it was like I said, Claudia started off the fight good, and then I think it was gosh, she ended up on the ground somehow. I can't remember what happened.
Andrade took her down.
Like, was that the leg lift?
That might have been the first one, yeah.
Cause yeah, like she had went. This was some straight, like, I don't even know how to describe it. She went for like a single leg and literally just like lifted Gadelha up over her head and just slammed her.
She did the same thing to Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I just remembered in the first, like a couple times in that fight, but like Jędrzejczyk popped back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Gadelha did not have the same, man, yeah, like she lifted her up over her head and just slammed her like she was a child, and then just brutal ground and pound. And then even when starting in like round 2, when they did have exchanges on the feet, we saw kind of like the Andrade that we're used to seeing, where she's just plodding forward, and no matter what you throw, it just doesn't matter. She's just gonna keep coming, and she's gonna keep hitting you with bombs. Gadelha's face was just, just. Oh man, her face was just all kinds of red, just blood everywhere. It was scary.
yeah.
That's the only way to describe it. Like Andrade is just terrifying, just lifting you up over her shoulder and just slamming you at will. She gets you on the ground, she gets top pressure. You're getting hammered repeatedly, and then when you trade on the feet, she just hits just ridiculously hard, and she doesn't get tired. She never gets tired, and you could tell like by the third, Gadelha was just like she was just out of it. Like what do I have to do to get this chick away from me? And there's nothing you can do because Andrade is she's just an animal.
Yeah.
And
so heading into this fight, it was really bizarre, like seeing so many people confident that Gadelha is gonna win this fight, because this kind of played out almost exactly like I thought it would. I didn't expect it to be so violent for some reason. Like I expected like Gadelha to be able to stall her out a little bit, but if MMA was 1 or like 1.5 rounds, Gadelha would probably I'd be comfortable saying Gadelha was like the best striker in like women's strawweight, even better than like Joanna. Because there's just something about her. She's just something about her game that like just fucks with Joanna. Where like she dropped her like what was it, 2 or 3 times in their rematch, in their title fight. Like, she dropped her in the third round when she was spent, and Joanna landed like 50, 60 more strikes than her. But her style of fighting, or striking, I should say, and her natural predilections towards wrestling, like, they don't mesh well together in a way. Because Gadelha's not fleet-footed at all. She could do it for like a few minutes, but like when it comes down to it, she is there to plant her feet and like march forward. Not at the same pace as Andrade, but at like a decent clip. And if you wrestle with her, she's going to wrestle back.
Right.
That's just something in her game where like it doesn't matter how well she's doing on the feet. Like, she just feels the most comfortable wrestling, even when she's losing. And that's pretty much what cost her here. Like, that and the fact I don't think she could do what she did in like the first 3 minutes of the first round. I don't think she was going to be able to do that the entire fight. Even if Andrade didn't switch up and go for the takedowns early in the second and at the end of the first. Like, she's just too prone to slowing down. And with the pressure that Andrade brings, I just can't imagine it would have the pressure and the body punching. Because she did quite a bit of that here, like where she was just going downstairs, especially once in the second and third round more in the first. But even when she got on top, she was throwing to the body, like on the ground. So,
and she hits like incredibly hard. Like,
she's a brick thrower.
Yeah, there are no pity pat, no pity pat punches going on. Like, she's aiming to kill, which is crazy that she never gets tired because she throws so hard. It's crazy to watch.
I think it's pretty telling that she was up 2 weight classes and was still, like, in most fights, the stronger girl. She just couldn't keep up the pace because the other girls were so big. Like, she did this against Raquel Pennington. And I think the only woman she wasn't able to out wrestle to a certain extent was like Liz Carmouche at when she was fighting at bantamweight.
So I guess I'm wondering. So Gadelha takes this L, but we got Joanna, obviously about to fight Thug Rose. I forgot when that fight is happening, but
217.
Yeah, so that's not too far in the future. So does she just get next crack at a title shot, or do we throw her somebody else in the meantime? Because I don't know, I'm looking at these rankings.
I'd love to see her fight somebody else first. This is still the same Andrade that lost to Joanna.
Yeah.
Like, definitely not Cavillo, because I think Cavillo is like especially.
Oh, you still there?
I'm still here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and probably not Cavillo. She's probably still. I don't want to see her career get I don't want to say killed, but
sideline.
Yeah, you don't want that.
I'd love to see her fight like someone like Carla Esparza, someone like Felice Herrig. Well, I think Felice Herrig's probably gonna stay at 115. There are fights out there for her. Like Esparza, Herrig especially, I'd like to see. I'm not sure. Has Waterson fought since she got beat by
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not Waterson.
Yeah.
I know Tisha Torres still hanging around the top 5.
I like
be a good
I like
fight.
the Torres or the Herrick fight. Because Herrick's been on a roll as of late. So
Yeah, and Carolina Kowalkiewicz is about to fight again, right? Like she's gonna be on the Poland card, I think.
let's see.
I know they wanted her on it. I'm not sure if she's on it, but if she ends up on it and she wins that fight, I'd love to see her fight Andrade. I think she'd get absolutely, shit kicked, but
Oh yeah, she's fighting Jody Escobar next month.
all right, okay. If she wins that fight, I'd like to see Andrade fight again. Like, I think the UFC kind of hopes that Joanna moves up and faces the winner of the Tough 26, I think it is, where they crown the champion.
Yeah.
I think that's what they want, but I think Joanna wants to break Ronda Rousey's record for title defenses, and she's only like, what, 2 away, 1 away?
And I mean, conceivably, that could definitely happen. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason she can't break that record.
I mean, it's right in front of her. She's at 5. Thug Rose is probably going to be 6. That tie it, and she wants to break it in early 2018. I don't see a reason why it can't be. I think they might want to hold off on Andrade, Joanna, and Jacek, because I think they really want to put a belt on Andrade. Because imagine her headlining Fox cards, where she gets 5 rounds to do what she did to Gadelha.
Right. Just out here destroying, just bloodbathing people.
Yeah. So. Yeah. No. I don't know that they'll do that though, because I really think the UFC kind of short-sighted, and they're like, oh my gosh, you got this big win against Gadelha, and we're gonna throw them at each other right away.
Well, we'll see. She's definitely got fights ahead of her. I mean, for Gadelha, definitely a tough loss. I feel like this probably knocks her back from another title shot for a while, but
time to move up to 125. I think the weight cut's just freaking murdering her.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, she has all the tools to beat Andrade. She just doesn't have the gas tank to do it.
That and just somebody that physically imposing. Like, it's only I'm pretty sure when she
like you don't want to fight somebody like that on at 60-70% because of a weight cut,
Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure when they had like grappling exchanges, she probably never felt that strength, like that kind of strength in her life before. Like that, it just looked like some next level. It's like she was fighting a superhero.
Oh my god! Dude, before David Bixenspan of Wrestling Observer made this point. Before that fight, we thought Gadelha was the strongest the strongest fighter and the best wrestler / grappler in the division.
Yeah, that crown might have just gotten.
Yeah, it's definitely been passed off.
It was forcefully taken, but yeah, man, that was a great performance from Andrade. Like that was a manhandling if I've ever seen one.
Best performance of the weekend.
Yeah, that was.
Except maybe Paul Daly.
Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. But yeah, shout outs to Andrade, man. Awesome fight. Really great performance.
One of the better UFC fights of the year.
Definitely.
UFC hasn't had a ton of really great fights. They've had great performances, but not a lot of great fights. And I think this is probably creeps into the top 5.
It's up there. And it's definitely in terms of performances, this was one of those oh snap. It was one of those moments. But yeah, that was an awesome fight. Oh Lord, this next fight I don't even really want to segue into. But
can we talk instead of talking about the fight, can we talk about Maestro Dong Young Kim's amazing hair?
Sure. Let me bring up his Oh man, he has how do I even describe this?
The flowing, the flow and the volume, just ace.
It's like it's like a bowl cut, but it's like an advanced bowl cut. I don't really know how else to describe it, but yeah, no, Donghyun Kim, not to be confused with Stun Gun, fought Takanori Gomi. If you guys remember, him and Marco Polo Reyes, that was earlier this year, right? Was that last year?
Maybe.
Damn,
All the years meshed together after a while.
I feel like that was. I want to say that was this year. Oh no! I lied.
That was last year.
Either way, that was one of the fights of the year last year. So yeah, now he's on a 2-fight win streak, but he fought Takanori Gomi in a fight that I just wish wouldn't even have happened, but we're here. Yeah, I feel like it's not a lot really to say in this fight.
Kim knocked out Gomi in 5th round. The ref was really like on it too. Like once he was down and he landed like 2 or 3 punches, he's like, "Yeah, no, Gomi, you're done. You're done."
Yeah, they kind of rushed him on out of there, and I mean, maybe he could have went more, but I'm honestly not mad at the stoppage. It's just at this point in Gomi's career, I don't want to see this anymore. Like
real talk. Why haven't they booked Gomi Pen 2?
I mean, well, I guess it's too late now because I think he said this was his last fight, right?
Did he?
I thought he said it.
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah. So that boat, yeah, they probably should have booked that fight a while ago, but I guess that boat probably is long gone and sailed. But yeah, man, Gomi has had a rough last like 3 to 4 years, really, if you think about it.
Remember that time before Miles Jury knocked him out where he was just like on a roll? He won like 3 in a row, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, he's gotten his way back."
Yep.
No, it was he beat Mitsuoka, he beat Mac Danzig, and he beat Isaac Valley Flag, but he lost to Diego Sanchez in a robbery, by the way.
Yeah. So yeah, he had that little stretch. That was from 2012 to 2014, where it kind of looked like, I mean, not like I don't think he was gonna, go for like a title, but like he was looking pretty good. He was looking pretty solid, but yeah, man, he got, well, I think it was a straight right that took him out, and ground and pound, and then that was pretty much all she wrote. I mean, good highlight reel for Donghyun Kim. A good vet name to have on your resume. You take out a legend, but yeah, I don't know. This fight just kind of hurt my feelings, to be honest.
Like, I want to know what the point of this fight was, because like I love watching Kim fight. He's always fun. Dude ain't a future contender. Like, he is lightweight action fighter for life. And there was no way Gomi was going to win this fight. Like zero chance. Like Gomi was going, like, as close to zero chance as you can give a guy like Gomi, basically, to winning this fight. And they were like, you know what, we're going to take this fight to the Saitama Super Arena, and we're going to let Gomi die in front of his own audience. Right. And that'll create a buzz for Kim.
Probably not.
Like, they're better off like signing some no-name like Korean prospect,
right, and let Gomi flatline him, or try to flatline him,
or letting that kid build his name off of Gomi, yeah. And like try, like the other way around. Like, if that was their goal, like I don't get. This almost feels like a wrestling move, like have the home guy lose to like the foreigner in front of his home country, just so he can get some heat. I don't know.
I feel like they didn't even really care. Like, they just, you know how it is when you do a card in whatever foreign country, and you get all of their fighters, and if they got some highly recognizable name, it's like, all right, we're just gonna throw them on the card, And I don't know. I feel like since he's 39 years old, they probably honestly didn't even care. It's like he's a name. We know the Japanese crowd will come out and support him. You know, he's still got a lot of fans out there. So, yeah, I don't know though. Like, yeah, this fight didn't. Yeah, I feel like it doesn't. I mean, I guess for Kim, like I said, you get a good name on your resume. Everybody wants like that one veteran win. So I guess you get that. But yeah, like he's not gonna skyrocket to like the top 15. I don't know. I don't know what this fight was. It
Sad.
Yeah.
It was
It
sad.
was But
Now we're all sad.
right. But, yeah, for what it's worth, shout outs to Maestro Hun Kim and his hair out here getting wins. So it is what it is. This next fight though, this made me happy. I rewatched this fight a lot of times. Gokhan Saki makes his UFC debut against Henrique de Silva. Saki, who was 0-1 in MMA, but I think his loss was back in like 2004 or something.
Like back when he was like 20.
Yeah, and they said during the broadcast that when he took that fight, he didn't know what MMA was. Like he just took the fight, and they had to explain him the rules before it happened. Like he didn't even really know what he was getting into. So, but if you don't know Saki's background, man, this dude is one of the nastiest kickboxers I've ever seen, man. This guy is an animal. Like, I think in like kickboxing, like in Glory and all the other times, I just liked watching him fight because it seemed like he was fighting people that were so much bigger than him, but it didn't matter because he's just so skilled as a striker. Like the dude is insanely fast, just really accurate, crazy powerful. And I was hoping that translated over to MMA, and in some ways it did. He left with a nice a nice KO, nice highlight reel for your first well, not your first MMA fight, but your first fight in the UFC. But I mean, shout outs to Henrique though, like against a kick.
The man ate
Yeah.
a lot.
He ate some shots, and not only did he eat some shots, like there were points in the fight where he was the one pushing forward, like against somebody who is leagues better than him when it comes to striking. And like straight out the gate, man, Saki was catching this dude with just right hands, leg kicks. He dropped him with I think a straight left within like the first minute of the fight. And yeah, Saki was just teeing off on Henrique. And props to Saki, who when Henrique would like go for clinches and takedowns, like Saki was getting underhooked, so he never got put on his back. He even like reversed Henrique one time and like got him on the ground for like a brief moment. Henrique did have moments though. He landed some good knees in the clinch, and
Yo, he had him.
yeah,
Hurt. He had him really
and
hurt.
that was actually the point. And literally, if you watch the fight, like right on that, I think it was like there was a minute and 30 seconds left, and it was right when Henrique landed like his third knee and that like little scrap that they had. Right at that third knee, you could just kind of look at Saki's face, and he's like, "Oh snap!" Like he looked a little winded. He was probably hurt from the knees and definitely winded. And then you could kind of see like he still had some sting in his shots, but he just looked like he wasn't all the way there. And then Henrique got him up against the fence. He landed some really good knees, and I think he landed an elbow too. And then
he landed like 3 or 4 of them, like just unanswered, and like Saki had no idea what to do.
He was just,
which is weird because he's a guy who, well, like he became famous through kickboxing, but like the beginning of his career was basically all was Muay Thai.
Yeah, those
like I'm not sure how high level like the heavyweight European scene is when it comes to Muay Thai, but like he was like that's where he's got to start.
I guess also to his no, I guess not to make an excuse, but I didn't know he's been on like a 2-year layoff. So
yeah,
ring rust is
probably honestly, guys, it's probably to his benefit.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Because like one of the things is with like guys making the crossover from kickboxing, like and especially for Saki, who's 33. The wear and tear. Like, there's wear and tear from wrestling, but like most of the guys who make the transition over don't have degenerative brain damage, like holding them back. Like their chins are pretty much still intact. Like most of their pain is all like joints and muscles. Like Saki's been knocked out how many times? And he's been like torn apart how many times? He's been in how many wars already? So
he's got mileage.
there is some, yeah. And again, like you said, there's a dude who fought up a weight class. Like, he looks small here against a 205er. Like, he was fighting guys like Rico Verhoeven, who are close to like 7 feet tall.
But Daniel Guida, who's like,
might actually be
right,
7
like
feet tall.
Guida is like a mountain of a person, and
yeah, and he was beating Andor, being competitive with those guys. So like, it's good to see him win here. Just some like differences, like from K1 and Glory to transferring into MMA. And it was pretty glaring here, actually. Saki's used to fighting like 3-minute rounds.
Yeah.
It really shows, because like at the 3-minute mark, he looked pretty tired. I think moving forward, he's probably gonna have to like slow it down on the output. But like early on, he was really unleashing into De Silva. Like, every counter opportunity De Silva was giving him, he was taking. He was doing a really good job of like slipping and like sidestepping, pivoting to like get to angles where he could land counters. And he took every single one of them. And by the 3-minute mark, while De Silva was still there, while De Silva was still there, he was starting to slow down. And that's going to be dangerous, especially once against the bigger dudes in the division, who will press into him more, who will try to wrestle him more. And don't get me wrong, he showed some excellent wrestling defense here. But if De Silva was able to tire him out, that I won't say it's not a good sign. Like you said, this is basically his first MMA fight ever. Like, we could talk about like the fight from like 2004, but like you said, he didn't know what he was getting into. But, like, those are things he can work on, but he's also 33, and I'm not sure how much he can fix. And yeah, I think he's going to end up having to adopt a more like Anderson Silva type game, where he's like, he has to fight, he has to be the counter puncher like all the time.
Or maybe just because another thing I noticed that he does, and I mean, I get why he does it, because he can knock anybody out, but like, he throws 100% like all the time.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're getting in 3-round fights, you might, and with MMA time, like you might need to slow that down. Like, maybe take, like, I don't know, like the Nate Diaz approach, where
It's a really a product of like Dutch kickboxing. Like, they throw 100% into their shots, and they always finish with leg kicks.
Because it's like, maybe, I ain't gonna say pity pat some shots, but maybe throw a few shots, 60%, 70%, and then unload maybe on your last one. But yeah, you can't do the 100% the entire time. Because, I mean, had that counter, had this KO not happen, which actually reminded me a lot of that Lima Koreshkov KO. I feel like it was kind of the same situation where he's backed against the cage.
Lima Koreshkov and Pitbull Weichel.
Like, when they're even with their back against the cage, you're still not safe. Like, he throws the right and the left, and then your back is on the ground, and you're looking up wondering what just happened. But yeah, like, had he fought somebody who could have made it out of that first round, this fight might not have went this way. But to his credit, KO gets a nice KO. Nice little post-fight celebration, kicking the mouthpiece. Yeah, man.
Big. I want to say during the broadcast, they mentioned that he was training with Taha Akgul, a Turkish Olympic gold medalist, like world champion wrestler. He lost like this year, but like our goal is like if I had a list of guys who I want to see do MMA across any combat sport, he's like number one. If you ever seen this man, he is a physical specimen. One hell of a wrestler. I want to say like he's only like 26 or something, but like at his first world championship win, he ran through the entire bracket and 10-0'd them all. Yeah, like this man is physically just miles ahead of like the average heavyweight. And if the UFC ever got the chance, I'd like throw $250,000 at him and say, "Come fight for us, please do." But no, I thought that was pretty good to hear that. Excuse me. Saki was working with the Turkish team, the Turkish national wrestling team, to like get his wrestling kit together.
He looked prepared. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, no, this is as good as a guy who's making transition over for kickboxing to MMA and only having so much time working on his wrestling as will ever look. And he looked damn good. So
we'll see. He's, long road ahead, but
I mean, not a very long road.
Yeah, I guess that's 205, not.
I mean, like, let's look at the last guy who beat Frank Waston Jr.
Who was the last fight?
Who was it? It was Ian Cutelaba, who is now scheduled to fight Antugalov. So, like, there's not a lot ahead of him. If I'm the UFC, I'm just bringing in dudes who will strike with him, to give highlight reel KOs for like a year.
And then eventually, if his wrestling gets a bit better, maybe you feed him not a top 10, but I don't know. There'll be somebody out there maybe that'll test him eventually down the line. But yeah, for now, just let him strike with some people, let him flatline him. We can keep.
Don't let him fight like Glover Teixeira.
Right. Don't get his career ended before it even kicks off. But yeah, man, solid, really, really, really great performance, man. I'm really happy to see him in the UFC, and I'm hoping he does well, man. I've been rooting for this guy for a long time, so definitely happy to see him over here. This next fight, which is weird, I've rewatched this fight like 1.5 times, and somehow I still don't remember it much. But, no, I do remember this fight because this is the crowd moment that I wanted to mention. Teruto Ishihara and Rolando D. Pretty good, entertaining, high pace, a lot of striking. I think Teruto dropped him within like a minute. Like as soon as this fight started, I think he caught him with a straight left. He pretty much really Teruto dominated that first round. Pretty much after the straight left, he pretty much took control from there. I think Rolando started to open up more in the second, but I just feel like his volume wasn't there. I mean, he did land some good shots, but it's kind of like the Canelo fight where it's like you land good shots, but your moments are just kind of few far in between. So I don't know if I'm really gonna give you a round, but he might have stole the second. I can't remember. Yeah, I think I gave him the second, but he lost the third.
No, two of the judges gave him the third. It was a 9-9 round because the repeated kicks to the balls.
Yeah. So that was the crowd moment. So like you always hear during anytime they have fights in Japan, like you always hear the comment like the crowd is just really quiet, and it's very true. Like if you listen to these fights, especially I noticed it in the Andrade fight, you can hear the cornermen like very clear because the crowd is so quiet. Like you can hear a pin drop in that stadium. But my God, if a nut shot happens, these people lose it. Like, and I get it. In the Ishihara fight, he ate, was it 2 or 3? Yeah,
he ate 3,
and like
I think. Like really
Yeah.
bad. Like the last one was really
Like
bad.
I didn't think he was gonna continue. Like that third one looked like he might have just could have stopped, and I wouldn't even have been mad because they were some vicious, some vicious nut shots, man. But yeah, and the crowd just seemed to go wild every time he got he caught one of the family jewels. But yeah, I just wish I had more. I just can't really remember this fight much, but I just remember just pretty entertaining performance for him. Not anything too wild, but like I remember he dropped him in the first and.
Off a spinning back elbow attempt by D. Like D went for like a spinning back like forearm or something, and Ishihara jumped back into distance after he jumped back in as he was turning around and clocked him with like a left hand or something, which I found funny as shit. So,
but
no, D. Yeah, like D cost himself the fight basically, or at least a draw. Like there were moments where he was clipping Ishihara, and it was pretty clear Ishihara was hurt or stunned or rocked or whatever you want to call it, but he couldn't capitalize on it because like you said, he doesn't throw. He's not like he's a 2-3 punch thrower. He's not like a 5-6 punch guy, which you kind of have to be at these weights if you don't have one touch power. So he really did just give up the fight by the repeated groin kicks.
Yeah, don't I forgot. Did he end up getting a point taken? Okay.
Yeah, that's why it was a 9-9 round.
But good, solid fight from both. Just one too many kicks to the groin. Not doing yourself any favors, but solid performance from Ishihara. He seems always pretty fun to watch, and yeah, like D could be better if he just put his foot on the gas just a bit more, like because his striking is pretty good. It's just
that's the thing with a lot of these like Filipino like MMA fighters. They're really athletic and they throw like a really fast 2-punch combo, but like they're so few and far between, and they give up so like they'll circle around. They like there's not a whole lot of like actual preference for where they fight. Like, they just kind of fight where the opponent lets them fight, and they fight for these explosive moments. But
yeah, but good solid fight from both men, and shout out to Teruto for getting that W. The last fight on the main card that we will mention is Husier Formiga and Yuta Sasaki. It was weird seeing the size difference. Sasaki's like, I think he has like 5 inches on him. Sasaki's like 5'10".
5'11",
That's
yeah,
weird.
something like that.
Dude is 5'10" and somehow weighs 125 pounds. However that works. But
you have skinny bones. Really skinny bones.
I thought his striking actually looked pretty good. And I think they mentioned during the broadcast that I think Sasaki's out in New York trainings. I can't remember what gym, but he's training like his Muay Thai out in New York. And
yeah, I don't remember it. Yeah, no. God, I feel like I heard the name. I know the name, but I can't remember. But he's in New York.
I mean, he looked pretty solid on the feet because a lot of this match was them kind of engaging striking, and it was just weird to see the size and like reach discrepancies. But yeah, I mean, Sasaki looked pretty solid on the feet. They both landed some pretty solid shots. But once Formiga took him down, which was also weird to see, just Sasaki just seems so much bigger. But man, Formiga just kind of powered him to the ground, and once it got there, it was kind of over. It's weird every time I watch Formiga fight, and like I said, it's a pretty nasty rear naked choke he got in. Like he got that in really tight when it was in. But he's just another guy that like he's been top 5 forever, but he's still never.
He was the number 1 flyweight on the planet before the UFC even considered bringing in the flyweight division. Like he lost the title to Tachi Palace. Not the title. Like he was the number 1 guy. Then he lost to like Ian McCall or something like that at Tachi Palace.
never gotten a title shot, but he's literally been in the top 5 since he's been in the UFC.
Well, every time he gets close to one, like he loses, and then the guy who beats him gets a title shot.
So yep, he lost the split decision to Cejudo. Cejudo goes on to beat Ortiz. I mean, no, I think Cejudo. Can't remember if he got a title shot after that, but he gets a title shot, and then he loses to Ray Borg. Ray Borg, well, he hasn't fought for the title shot yet because of injury, so on and so forth. But he's now Borg is slated to get that shot. So yeah, man. I mean, like at 32 years old, it kind of sucks. It's like your window is. I mean, I can't really say it's closing, but just kind of sucks. You just feel like you have these series of unfortunate events where you seem to somehow get left out of the loop. But
I mean, it's not like he hasn't had his opportunities, but at the same time, you kind of almost hope he gets it, like wish he gets it. Just out of like kind of pity, but
yeah,
he's been around so long.
Throw him in there to see what happens. But good win from him. Great grappling from him as always. Like I said, once this fight went to the ground, it was pretty clear cut from there. So
one of the very best back takers in MMA.
Yeah, and once he got it in, like there was no, like that was it. Like that was just it. And man, he got that chokehold in just really tight. And I think even now after that, he's still. Let's pull up these rankings. Yeah, he's sitting right at number 5. He's got Hayes behind him and Pettis in front of him. So I don't know.
Would love to see him fight Ben Win.
Might as well throw them out there since Borg is getting the shot now. But we'll see. He's always in the top 5. Who knows? Maybe one day he'll get a title shot. But great performance nonetheless. Great grappling. I guess these prelims I cannot speak on because I did not watch any of them. So I don't know if you watched a few. I guess you can give your thoughts on a few. But yeah, I don't have any. Have no input on any of these fights.
Abe, probably the biggest. Fine, not I would say fine, but like he probably has like the most stock after that. After prelims, like I didn't see Anzai versus Luke Jumier or however you pronounce his name. I only saw the last round of Kondo Mi Jian, and I saw Nakamura beat Morono in a not so great, but Nakamura is a veteran and he's more experienced than Morono, so he edged him out. But Abe versus Hyung-Yu Lim, that was actually a really good fight. Abe is surprisingly adept for a guy with only 6 fights on his record. Like this was his 6th fight. And he's only been fighting for like a year, like a little over a year. He started his career in like 2016. And he's been outside of his first fight. He's been fighting nobody but guys with like 20 fights on the record. Like you want to talk about Aaron Pico? Like Yuta Nakamura was 16-22-3. Kenta Takagi was 15-12. His last fight before he got to the UFC, Hiromitsu Miura was 12-6, and here he fought Hyung-Yu Lim, who was 13-6-1. Like guys with like 4 or 5 times as much fight experience as he does. And he's beat him out. He hits hella hard. He's a great counter puncher when he remembers to counter. But his problem is he doesn't really do much on. He's not aggressive. And if he doesn't knock you down, he's probably not scoring points. So he's a guy to watch for. Like I hope he develops well. I hope they take him slow, because like he's really good.
Why is Hyung-Yu Lim still at welterweight?
Yeah, because he can make the weight, and Korea seems to have a thing for weight cutting.
Why is this guy at 170? Yeah, I don't know. This that's another discussion, but maybe I'll go back and check some of these out. But I mean, overall, from what I saw, top to bottom, pretty solid card. main event was still kind of weird to watch, but it ended pretty awesome, so I guess that was cool. And then we got Andrade with.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if that had been Shogun and like OSP had just knocked him out like he did last time? How depressing would that have been?
To be honest, at this point in Shogun's career, him getting knocked out, I've gotten to the point where it doesn't faze me when he loses. I'm just like,
And it's hilarious because he's on the longest winning streak he's had since like Pride ended.
I don't know. I love Shogun, but I don't know. But I mean, he's top 5 dead or alive. So what do I know? He might end up somehow getting a title shot before his career is over, which would be the strangest thing ever. But hey, he's on a 3-fight win streak. Somehow, if that rematch with OSP happens and he wins, who knows? Who knows? Sport's wild. So, but nevertheless, awesome finish by OSP. Performance of the night easily by Andrade, and Saki came. It was a Japan card. It was entertaining in a way that only Japan can be entertaining.
It really sucks how Naoki Inoue was supposed to fight in this card, but he injured his knee like a month ago, and it sucks because he was awesome in his first UFC fight.
Yeah, another young guy who, definitely worth keeping an eye on. But
bright side, Mizuki Inoue says she'll be back soon, so
there we go.
At least one of them's gonna be around in a bit.
But solid card for UFC Fight Night Japan. So if you guys didn't get a chance to see it, if you just want some cliff notes, I mean, Sherdog has a lot of the finishes on their front page, so you can see the Von Fu choke, you can see Saki's KO, you can watch Gomi, but
for the most part, you can get by watching this card on like highlights. If you had to watch one fight from the card, go watch the Andrade Gadelha fight.
Everything else you can just kind of get cliff notes on, but solid card nonetheless. And I guess we'll move on to Bellator 183. Another pretty good card, man. Like the Bellator put together a pretty solid card. Some pretty nasty KO of the year candidate, which we'll get to. But
got 2 of them.
Yeah. But we'll start from the top, regrettably. Lord. Patricky Pitbull, Benson Henderson.
So, time for me to be up front. I only saw the first 2 rounds of this fight because I fell asleep.
You didn't.
The second.
The first 2 rounds was pretty much this fight in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I was really interested in this fight. I thought this was an interesting matchup to see if Patricky could catch Bendo and somehow knock him out, or at least rock him, or if Bendo would be able to maybe just play the outside or maybe work his wrestling, which he tried to do, but couldn't really get any takedowns. He worked the clinch. I don't know. This fight wasn't. Patricky landed probably the harder shots. Bendo, I will say, I guess, for Bendo that I did like. I think at least compared to these other Bellator fights, he looked a bit more active, or at least a bit more willing to press the action, but just not really landing anything like, I guess, worth of significance. I mean, he did land some really good body kicks that definitely had some thud with him, but just wasn't a whole lot to write home about with this fight, to be honest. It just
Benson is always like we all know. Benson's always been this dude who struggles with meaningful offense. I guess is the nicest way to phrase it. Oh, 1 second. There we go. He struggles with meaningful offense. He struggles hurting guys. He does. he basically does like just enough to keep guys from just getting overly aggressive with him. But ever since the Koreshkov fight, like it's been, his activity has been turned down to basically nothing. Like the Koreshkov fight was understandable. He got his ass kicked from bell to bell
by a dude who was
like by a dude who was significantly bigger and a better striker than him. The Pitbull, the Patricio Pitbull fight, he was on his way to losing the fight basically. Before with what happened,
Pitbull
like,
broke his leg, I think.
He broke his leg or his like ankle or something like that. Like and he was forced out of the fight, and Benson won, and they got him a title shot in which one of the judges scored it for him. I don't know how, but Michael Chandler essentially beat his ass for 4 rounds, and then lost the 5th. But here, like it's like like you said, Benson was aggressive, but like he didn't do anything, which also almost sounds like an oxymoron. Like he couldn't get the wrestling working. His striking was as chaotic and like dysfunctional as ever.
I almost want to just like go back and watch him from like 2013 up until now, just to see like what's been the fall off, like what happened, like.
This is a dude who 2 years ago beat the current number 4 welterweight,
like
in Jorge Masvidal, and I know a lot of people thought Masvidal won that fight. I had it for Benson, unless the Koreshkov beat something out of him. I'm not sure what happened.
And if you look at his body work overall, like he's one of the greatest lightweights like ever. Like this dude at one point he was that guy, but it's just like something. Yeah, like you mentioned the Masvidal fight. I'd also say, well, that fight wasn't much to write home about, but the Cerrone fight that he lost, that I thought he won, even though that fight kind of didn't have a lot. But like he's beaten the best of the best. And it's just like, it's weird to watch him fight now because like you just don't know. It's just like it's not the same guy. It's just there's something. There's just something not there. I don't know what it is. But I mean, I guess shout outs to Patricky though. Nothing not to take away from him. Like I said, he definitely landed probably the harder shots. He wasn't as active either as I probably would have liked him to be, but in the moments that he did have, his shots were a lot more significant. And
like it's worth noting too. Benson fought 2016 with like a leg injury or something, which is why we haven't seen him this year as much.
And he did say like this is the first, like the healthiest he's felt in a while. Yeah,
that's not a good sign.
But I mean, I guess though for Patricky, I mean, KO's Josh Thompson gets his win obviously over Bendo. I mean, you got to think he can't be too far either from a fight with Primus, or I don't know if they're just gonna do the Chandler match but he's basically right up there now. Like he's pretty much up in that discussion of people that's pretty close next in line to a title shot. So
I think Bellator was really hanging on this fight to decide who they're going to get Primus next. Like if Benson won and he submitted Patricky and looked like the Benson vote, they were going to give him this fight. If Pitbull came out here and just freaking decked Benson in the first round, they were probably going to give him the title fight. Instead, it's probably going to go Michael Chandler.
I mean, and I'm not mad at that.
And no, he deserves it, especially like the freaky way he lost the first fight. But I think they thought in their heads, well, let's just put the brakes on that real quick and see if we can get one of these guys to do something. And that's why they haven't rebooked that fight yet.
But
Patricky. Did we mention that Patricky won this fight?
Yeah. He won. Yeah, he won split decision. Yeah,
Another thing,
yeah,
Bendo,
these close fights.
you want these close fights, like you're going to end up losing them. So like if this is the way you want to fight, like you saw in the Cowboy fight, you saw it in well, the Chandler fight was one hit, like one sided in my eyes, but like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like if you're gonna play it this close to close to your chest, like it's going to come back to bite you, and it's starting to catch it. It's caught up with you,
Yeah,
basically.
so it's either, I don't know, something in the game plan's got to change, or yeah, man, like I mean, it would be awesome if somehow he could get a title, because like I said, he would have, if he were to somehow capture gold in Bellator, he would be the first fighter to ever have gold in WEC, UFC, and Bellator, which, you know, I feel like that would be a pretty amazing accomplishment. But yeah, it's like at this point, man, if you don't change, if something doesn't change, it might not happen, and that really hurts my heart to say. But I don't know, man. Been
This reminds me, between this fight and the I'm sorry, text from my mom. If between this fight and the Larkin fight, how many dudes do well in both the UFC and Bellator?
I don't know, man. I feel like within the last year, like I think Bellator has done a good job of making most of them look. Well, Rory came over and does what Rory does, but like these UFC guys are coming over and they're not getting like easy wins. Like,
So like three guys that come from the UFC to Bellator to win titles. Phil Davis.
well, his was a given.
But
Yeah.
his was a robbery because King Mo beat him. Let's start there.
I honestly don't remember much. Yeah.
Yeah, King Mo beat him. Should have beat him. They gave the decision to Davis. So Phil Davis, Ryan Bader, and who am I forgetting? Did somebody else come over? Am I just like, or did I just have like a complete
who's
mental
champ
lapse?
Oh, well, Musasi's gonna be champ at 185.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna happen. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
But okay, so it's two guys have come over from the UFC to win belts in Bellator, and it's only Bellator's let one guy go to UFC to have who's won the title, and it was Eddie Alvarez. But Volkan Ozdemir was in Bellator, went 1-1, went away for a couple of years, went to UFC, went 3-0, and is now a top 4 or 5 like heavyweight. Like, I'm curious, what's the ratio of guys who've done well in both organizations? But I guess we have to quantify what does well means, because Hector Lombard was technically a top 5 welterweight for like a good minute.
I mean, I think Lombard did decent. It's just that, yeah, I don't know.
I think expectations for him were a little high.
He did well, but people expected a lot out of him, and I don't think he ever lived up to the hype that was placed on him. But I mean, relatively speaking, I think he did decent. Like he
I feel like we need to go. There needs to be some like research into this, like guys who've gone over and done well in the other organization. But we have to have like a quantifier. Like if we're not talking about like what era Bellator fighters, because like Lyman Good's in the UFC, and he's like 1-1, I believe, 2-1, 1-1.
Yeah.
Also, Uriah Hall fought for Bellator a long ass time ago. But like I wouldn't call him a Bellator fighter, so we'd have to be putting some asterisks next to this. But there needs to be a study done. Like I wouldn't consider Royce Gracie. You know what I mean? So there needs to be some study done. Is my point.
I think though Bellator is at least with their top dudes though. Like I think a lot of their top guys have done good, at least in like the lower weight classes, of proving themselves that they're like legit top 10, top 15.
Oh yeah, I mean, Patricky is just beat Josh Thompson and Benson Henderson. What's his name? Oh, I just remembered something. When is Michael McDonald going to fight for Bellator?
I have no idea, and it sucks because that division, like, there's some good fights for him down there, and yeah, I don't know when his
There are 7 other men in the Bellator bantamweight division. 7.
They're really.
There are more women's featherweights on the roster.
Oh man, but I'll say in those 7, like in those
Oh no,
yeah,
they're
I
all
say
quality.
yeah, they're good
all
quality.
quality.
It's just not a whole.
It's not like there aren't dudes out there that Bellator could sign. Like Ian Loveland is still out there. Nick Pace is still out there. Like there are some quality bantamweights just floating around the regional scene who probably aren't going to get a call up to the UFC and need a home.
We'll see. I'm trying to Google to see if yeah, he doesn't does he even have a fight lined up? Nope, he does not. Hopefully we'll see him. Hopefully we'll see him soon. Though he could probably go over there and crack if he heads, or he might get cracked. Either way, he'll go over there and put on some pretty entertaining scraps. But I guess speaking of people from the UFC coming over, Lorenz Larkin finally gets his match with Paul Daly. Was definitely anticipating this fight. I was looking forward to the incoming violence. It wasn't as violent as I thought it would be throughout, but boy, did it end in very violent fashion. I feel like even at this stage in Paul Daly's career, like he's shown a few, I guess, like new wrinkles. Like I feel like in this fight he threw a lot more leg kicks than I've ever seen him throw before. And I mean, like
Paul Daly isn't too far removed from his biggest win, which isn't, I mean, not in MMA, I mean in kickboxing, where he knocked out that Russian dude. I'm gonna find his name real quick. Here we go. Where he knocked out Alexander Stetsarenko, like a gory veteran who was like a top 10-ish was welterweight, middleweight, something like that. Like, there's a dude who won a Kunlun champion tournament in 2016. Like Paul Daly knocked him out. Like for some strange reason, Paul Daly seems to be just a man outside of time.
Right at 34,
he's still out here getting big wins.
Still has the power, clearly, as we saw in this fight, to put anybody out at a moment's notice. I feel like the first half of this fight was a good, like, little feeling out process. They were both throwing a lot of leg kicks, but I gave Larkin the first because he did have he definitely had the speed advantage. And in the first round, I think there were 2 moments.
He got
off moment. Like these 2 blitzes that kind of pushed Daly back a little bit. So yeah, I gave him the first off of that. Second round though, we saw Daly like working clinch action a lot more really than we've ever seen. Really, both of them kind of like this match wasn't like I don't say it wasn't strike friendly, but it just wasn't like as chaotic as I think people would like it hope for. Like it was a lot more clinch work, a lot more leg kicks. They were both being pretty measured, probably respectful of the other, not wanting to get flatlined. But with that being said, so ending sequence. I can't remember if they were clinched at first. I'm trying to remember what happened like right before, but I know Daly threw the spinning back fist that like kind of like slightly grazed Larkin, and then he followed it with a left hook, and you could tell as soon as the left landed, like equilibrium gone out the window. Like Larkin looked like he got knocked into another planet, and then I think he ate like another left and a right, and then some ground and pound, and what was definitely contender for KO of the year. Like it happened so fast and just out of nowhere, and he Yeah, Larkin's Bellator stint has not gone his way so far. And
No.
Paul,
No,
right,
no, no, no,
Paul
no.
Daly in 2017 at I think 34 years old is a legit top 10 welterweight. Like we forget that Larkin left the UFC on what was it, like a 4-fight win streak?
I want
Was
to
it
say it was like
2?
2 or
Let's
3,
see. It was 2, but it was over
but
Masvidal and
yeah,
Magny. So,
yeah.
and then before that, he lost that close fight with Tumanov. But like he had some really solid wins in the UFC. Pretty much is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, he has a knockout win over Ponzinibbio.
Right. Who's been on a tear?
Yeah, so yeah, like you know, it was a really smart move by Daly. Forcing like the takedown and clinch work, not because like it was something for Larkin to worry about, but it forced them to close distance. Like if Larkin was going to win this fight, it was going to be by keeping Daly at kicking range and just kind of pitter pattering him and like making him pay when Daly wanted to close distance. But by closing distance by like going for the clinch or like shooting for a double leg or something like that, he eliminates a lot of like Larkin's trained reactions for closing the distance. Like he's not countering Daly's explosive like left hook. He's trying to stop a takedown, and if it forces the range closer for like a boxing match, which is where Daly was. Where if Daly was going to win this fight, that's how he's going to do it.
And he won in very vicious vicious fashion. And I definitely enjoyed the post fight. He mentioned the two top guys are pretty much tied up right now, and he called out MVP, which I think that fight was supposed to have happened, right, at some point.
This was supposed to be that fight, if I remember right.
But I don't remember if MVP pulled out, but like something happened in that fight, just didn't.
If it was anything, it was probably Paige getting hurt. Because that's his MO.
But yeah, like I feel like at this point, yeah, like since Daly won't be able to get a title shot yet because we got Lima fighting Rory next year, which I can't wait for that fight. But yeah, he's tied up with that, so yeah, the Daly and MVP that has to be the next move. Like that has to be the next move. Like if you're MVP, there's no more time for just. I mean, I get it. You beat Gonzalez, that was a really good win, but it wasn't like a great performance. But yeah, like and it's time to start fighting like the upper echelon, like on a consistent basis. You can't go from fighting Gonzalez and then going back down to just fighting some no name. So yeah, Daly and MVP has to happen. We got to get that. And there'll be a lot of trash talk, a lot of good build up for that fight. that card will probably do some pretty decent numbers. So. Yeah, awesome KO from Daly. Probably a top 5, top 10 KO of the year. Sucks for Larkin though, man. Like I really like Larkin, and these first 2 fights just haven't gone his way. But on the other side, it proves that Bellator, at least like the guys that are in their top are legit. Like these just aren't some Joe Schmo run of the mill. Like these are legit talents that they have at their highest level.
Yeah. Even if they don't turn into like how should I say this? Like draws, like I don't know if like Paul Daly's going to turn to a dude who's going to bring like 1 million views to Spike. Like there's value in having the top fighters in your organization. There's a value to that. There's a value to it. There's like a prestige value to it, I should say. And that only helps your organization, especially when you're trying to get guys to come and fight for you. Like, hey, we have opportunities for growth here.
All right. You know, the people can come in and be tested and not feel like they're just fighting, just little Joe Smith from Iowa or whatever. Like, I think this makes I feel like this makes Lima look good too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Lima's the only dude who's like stood with Daly
Right.
in recent
Right.
years to
And
like
lived
beat
it up.
him.
And yeah, Daly even mentioned that in the post fight. Like the only two people to stand with him and live were Lima and Diaz. But like anybody else
Yeah,
who he stands with, he's probably gonna kill. And yeah, so that happened. Yeah, if there's it,
Yeah. Daly's probably getting the winner of
I would
McDonald
hope.
Lima.
Like yeah, if the
Like,
MVP fight doesn't happen, like he's got to get a title shot at this point.
well, even if the MVP fight does happen, it's probably going to end with MVP like staring up at the lights. So
Either way, title shot, yeah, for him is probably in his very near future. So shout outs to him. Yeah, like if there's any KO you watch, well, aside from the Pico fight, which we'll get to in a little bit, but yeah, if you want some cliff notes from this Bellator card, definitely watch that KO. It was nasty. um, I guess also continuing the theme of UFC guys coming over, Big Country Roy Nelson made his Bellator. He makes his Bellator debut. Oh God, I'm gonna butcher his name. It's Javi. I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. Ayala.
Ayala.
I'm a Big Country fan.
Uh,
I wasn't too. Honestly, I wasn't thrilled with him coming to Bellator. I was kind of about it at this point in his career. But for what it's worth, pretty solid fight. I mean, to be honest, this is one of the more entertaining Big Country fights I've seen as of late. Wasn't great, but actually, you know what? Shout out to Javi though. For a pretty big fellow, he's pretty nimble on the feet. Like in the striking exchanges, I thought he was. I mean, Roy landed those two pretty good uppercuts, but like Javi was doing work on the feet, man. He's a pretty nimble guy for somebody his size. And he was throwing like spinning back kicks, and he was doing stuff that just dudes his size aren't supposed to do. But yeah, he looked pretty solid on the feet, but Big Country just had the edge in the grappling, which we don't always see from him. But in this fight, he definitely used it to his advantage. Yeah, he kind of took Javi down. I can't remember how many. He took him down a pretty good number of times and kind of just pounded him out on the ground. But I feel like for a heavyweight fight, I was pretty entertained. Nobody got a KO, or I don't think anybody really got like rocked in this fight. I mean, they landed some solid shots, but it was a pretty good back and forth fight between two heavyweights. Like to be honest, I was kind of afraid that this fight would end up just being one of those boring heavyweight fights where we just kind of see two guys and it's kind of like, what are you guys doing? But no, this was actually like the crowd was really hyped during this fight. It was a pretty good back and forth performance. Solid performance from both. Roy, of course, we were all waiting for the right hand, but I feel like that right hand hasn't landed actually in a pretty long time. So I'm actually glad that he uses his grappling more and he's not just head hunting, because at this point, dudes know they know about the right hand. Like it's not a mystery anymore. So
I'm not even sure he has.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because like
the last two guys, the only two guys in the last like 3 or 4 years to be able to knock out are Big Nog and Bigfoot Silva, who he had to go like life and death with to get the knockout. So like I'm not sure how much juice there is in that right hand anymore. Like I think from now on, all Big Country fights are gonna look like this. Like it's gonna be him fighting for the takedown against guys who are like, who are basically just gonna be bombing on him.
But I mean, shout outs to Roy though. He does still have a pretty good chin. He can still eat a shot and still work through it and get his takedowns, get his ground and pound going. But yeah, it was a pretty entertaining fight. I actually thought it was cool in the pre-fight when they were showing because they always mention that Roy Nelson is a kung fu fighter, and in the pre-fight they actually showed the kung fu gym that he trained in when he was a kid, and they showed like the trophies that he's won, all that good stuff. So it was pretty entertaining to watch. But yeah, it was a pretty fun heavyweight fight. a good performance from Javi though. Like I know Roy Nelson won, and props to him, but like I really like what I saw from Javi. And in a heavyweight division that just doesn't really seem like there's a lot going for it.
I mean, he beat the two guys who are like number 1, number 2 in the division. He beat Congo. He beat Mitrione.
So,
oh my God, we're gonna get Fedor versus Roy Nelson. I'd like to ask you this question. I asked the homies, the Sports Sound Off yesterday. How far are we from Roy Nelson versus Rico Verhoeven?
You mean hold on? You mean them bringing him over to glory? I mean,
yes.
if we're bringing over Bigfoot, which is a fight that just should never happen, we're honestly probably not that far. Like, if we're willing to throw Bigfoot in, who's just seems like he has one foot in the grave, I mean, why not at this point? As much as I wouldn't want to watch that fight, I mean, to be honest, it would probably make Verhoeven have a nasty highlight reel because Roy Nelson can eat a shot, and God, at this point, we know Verhoeven can dish him out. So that might look like Nelson's fight with JDS, where he's just getting pummeled for 5 rounds. Somehow lives, but eats 1,000 shots on the journey. I don't know. That fight could conceivably happen. It shouldn't, but it could. We might not be too far from that. But I guess solid win for Nelson. I'm not sure. I don't really know what's going on in Bellator's heavyweight division, to be honest. So I don't know who he gets next or what.
Well, in all fairness, I don't think Bellator knows what's going on.
They don't even have a champ, right? I don't.
They stripped Vitaly Minakov of the title, but they're still trying to claim that they have him on contract, and that he's going to resign, and that he's going to fight next season or whatever, which is what they've been saying since Scott Coker took over Bellator, basically.
Oh, God.
So, if you want to see Vitaly Minakov, the true Bellator heavyweight champion, fight, just go watch UFC Fight Pass. He fights on fight nights.
Oh, man. But, yeah, solid. We'll see what they do with Roy. For Javi, I mean, you got this KO over Sergey. You also had a TKO over, was it Roy Bolton? So, I'm pretty sure he'll be around. I mean, he's only...
I mean, Nava Yala is Bellator homegrown to, like, a T. Like, I want to do, like, he's been with them for, like, 4 years now.
And at 30 years old, which at heavyweight, being 30 is like 21, because these dudes just fight way past when they should, but... Like he's still in that heavyweight picture of guys. I'm pretty sure they'll throw out there. He'll have some pretty entertaining fights. So shout outs to him. As for Roy, I wonder if they'll match him up with Meathead. I don't know. We'll see.
Why not?
Might as well at this point. But pretty entertaining.
Bring on.
I don't want to see.
Too bad.
That double KO. A double knockdown, God. But we'll see what Bellator does in that division. That just across the board just seems to be having issues. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. On to this next fight though. That yeah, man. This might be. I had to do some research, but this might be KO of the year. It's got to be like top 3, like. My God, Aaron Pico and Justin Lin. So Pico is coming off his debut, which did not go in his favor at all. He got choked out by Zach Freeman for his troubles in 24 seconds. Comes back in this fight. I didn't know now that he's I don't know if he was in his first fight, but I think they said now like he's training with Antonio McKee. He's got a lot of good people in his corner, it seems like. And whatever they did or they did after that first fight, it worked. He looked a lot more measured. He was a lot more patient. he was still throwing bombs, but like he wasn't. I felt like he wasn't like too out of control. He would have good flurries, and then like that there was at one point during the fight where he had Lin backed up against the cage, and he was just unleashing punches. And then I think he kind of realized like, all right, I'm not gonna get a KO. He's kind of backs off, recenters. So I thought that was good to see. As always, the wrestling, he got a nice slam in, but my God, that KO. I think he threw a right and a left. And I think Lin was about to fire back, or like he was in the motion of firing back, and he ate a left hook and just to paint a picture. So like the left hook, like Lin's head went like to the right, and then before he fell, it like swiveled all the way the other direction. Like I'm convinced if there was no cage behind him, he might have just his head would have just turned all the way around. But oh man, it was nasty. Like his soul left his body at impact. It was.
Yeah, that was one of the nastiest, maybe not the knockout itself, but it was one of the most nastiest like reactions to being knocked out I've ever seen a human being like go through. Like you said, like his whole body. Okay. His whole body like whipped around. What was it trying to do? Like, did Lin get hit and just not realize he got hit, and then he was trying to like swivel his head to the other side and he lost balance? Like, was his body like trying to correct itself as he like went unconscious standing up, and it just like it went too hard in the opposite direction? Like, I don't know what happened. Like, he swiveled all the way around. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, it's so nasty. If the cage wasn't there, he might actually be dead.
Yeah, like it was. Whew. Yeah, that was. Talk about redemption. That is.
Imagine if this had been Pico at the freaking pay-per-view. Like the hype would be through the ceiling.
Man.
I mean, so Justin Lin is a bantamweight, or I want to say he was a bantamweight in his last like few. He came up from bantamweight. He lost like his last 2 or 3 fights before this fight. Pico starts his career at 155, is moving down. No, Pico great. He looked way better than most fighters who's like this is basically his first fight, because his real first fight went like 30 seconds. Not even. So it's basically his first time getting any real cage time. He looked good. Like, he threw with power. Like, the shots that he was throwing were accurate. He looked good with the wrestling. Mixed it up pretty decently. Like, there were some obvious stretches of the fight where, like, his lack of fighter IQ and experience was showing. Like when he had Lin pushed up against the cage and he was just like bombing on him, but none of the punches were landing because he was just punching his like forearms. And but he still stood there and threw like 30, 40 punches that were like just complete misses. And like he got tagged as a result. Like he got tagged like 2 or 3 times, and he didn't get rocked, but it was enough to get him to get Pico off of Lin. Like that's something where like you learn to pick your shots, you make them count. If you can't land upstairs to the head, you go to the body. You throw a leg kick, you shoot for a takedown. Like there are other steps besides just like swinging on a person and getting like overly excited. But no, the counter, the hook that he landed to put Lin out was beautiful. And I'm normally a guy who's like, you know what, KO of the year should go to like maybe not the most meaningful KO, but like an aesthetically beautiful KO against a quality opponent. But this was so vicious that it usurps that.
Like, no, I can't think of any KOs this year where somebody's head swiveled like literally from one side to the other. Yeah, it was literally like a real life fatality. Like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And if you want to talk about building buzz back up, maybe a poor indicator, but our MMA, the Reddit MMA site, Pico is the number one on the page with like 2,600 upvotes. So, Bellator marketing team, do your thing. Like, I pray to God the next year he just fights guys who are like 5-4. Like, do not give him another Zach Freeman.
Let him do the slow build. Let him get a few more of these, highlights under his belt.
I know it's tempting, but we don't need AJ McKee, Aaron Pico in 2017, 2018. Save that for 2019, 2020. Like, build for the future, Bellator.
Boy, yeah. You guys have to watch that KO. Like,
yeah, no, yeah. If you have to see anything from this card, even maybe the Larkin, even more than the Larkin daily KO, go watch this, because God, that was soul shattering.
Just, oh man.
That's the type of KO. If you're like a regional fighter, like you just have to stop fighting.
You know what? This might not be the sport for me anymore. I should probably go use that degree that I got. Go.
I don't want this is like that wake up call if you're like a weekend warrior type dude and you're like, I do this for like an extra $2,500 every couple months, so I could go take a nice vacation or something. Like, nah, I think I'm done with this.
There are people out here that they do this for real.
Yeah,
this is not a game, man. These are the highlights that I see because I actually have like a lot of. I don't say a lot, but I have some MMA gyms where I live, and I actually have some pretty reputable ones. But like these are the KOs that I see. I'm like, you know what? I should just stick to being a fan. This might not be for me.
Yeah, no, like.
But shout outs to Pico, man. This is redemption doesn't get much better than that. Like, it does not get much better.
Like if you had to come out here and because like Pico was getting some shit, like Pico and his team was getting some shit for this fight. Like, how are you gonna put him in there against a guy with 10 fights again? And this happens, like it makes them look like geniuses, and like the Zach Freeman thing look like not a fluke, but like a misstep on their behalf. I like that he's at 145 too. By the way, like this fight was at 145, right? I'm not crazy. Yeah, like I like it more than I like him at welter.
I mean, and apparently I think he said he got they worked with a nutritionist, and like I don't think the weight cut was really much of an issue. So, and he's only 20, so which is awesome.
Yeah, he's 21 now.
Oh yeah, because that was his birthday. So. Yeah, man, he's got a bright future. I hope they just build him up slowly. Dude's only 21. Time is on his side. In a few years he might be he could be a pretty big deal. But KO of the year.
Yeah, dude, this is I don't know, like he's an AKA dude, so I'm assuming he's with the same team that's with DC and Kane and Luke Rockhold. But like his manager is doing a good, like his agent or whatever, or Bellator's PR people are doing a really good job, because like at Bellator 180, he was the number one story on ESPN.com. Or was it Sports Center? I think whichever one of the two. He was the number one story on their website. I'm not sure if that's by traffic or by like somebody might have given them a little money to be the number one story. Like Viacom tossed Disney a few bucks to be like, hey, can we get this dude? Can we get this kid highlighted on your website or whatever? But like he was the top story. So it's working. Like the buzz is real. It's like that Sage Northcutt buzz, except probably a little bit more substantiated.
he's got an actual highlight reel to oh god, Sage.
He's got a real background. Sage, you are the patron saint of the Dojo Talk podcast, but like those Kaiser tournaments you won when you were like 8 years old, that's not a real background for combat sports. Like it's cool that you could sling around the sickles, but you can't bring them in the cage.
It's real in the field. It's very real. But yeah, you guys definitely go check that fight out. And last fight rounding out the main card, Gordy Yamauchi and Adam Piccolotti. Adam, who was 10-0, I think.
9-0, 10-0,
undefeated before this fight. I feel bad because I really like Yamauchi, and I can't remember this fight a lot. I just remember the submission.
All right. So just a real quick rundown. Yamauchi submits Piccolotti first round rear naked choke. The whole sequence starts off with Piccolotti shooting for a double leg. I'm not sure if he was hurt or if he thought he saw something, but he shoots. Yamauchi goes for a guillotine. Piccolotti methodically gets himself out of it, but Yamauchi uses the space he creates to go for a leg. Piccolotti lands some ground and pound, but Yamauchi really grabs onto that leg, uses it to stand up and then take Piccolotti, not so much take him down, but push him to the fence and take his back where he locks up the rear naked choke, standing, and then drags him to the ground for the tap. So it was a really nice sequence.
And then he proceeded to call out Brent Primus.
Yeah, well, it was prompted to call out Brent Primus, we should say. Because, what's the dude's name? Jimmy Smith was so this Brent Primus guy, I'm like, who's Brent? Oh, yeah, he's the champion.
Oh, man. Shout out to Brent Primus.
He's like, Brent Primus, work hard because the monster's coming, in the nice guy voice.
But yeah, I like Yamauchi a lot, man. I like watching this guy fight. He's only 24 too, so.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I remember when Yamauchi first got signed to Bellator, it was this big deal because he was this kid with 14 submission wins, most of them in the first round, and he hadn't lost. That was 6 years ago. That was Bellator, what, 80 something? Not even when did Yamauchi debut? It was
99.
Bellator
2013.
99. It's been 4 years. This guy fought in a tournament, the Bellator featherweight tournament. He lost in the quarterfinals. He's been around for a minute.
He's only got 2 losses in Bellator. Will Martinez and Bubba Jenkins, who I think fought this weekend.
Yeah, he fought in ACB, and he beat Diego Marlin by TKO.
But yeah, shout outs to Yamauchi. That was a pretty nasty submission, and I guess for Adam, unfortunately you get the first L on your record, but it happens. It's that first L is just inevitable. You can nobody goes. There are no Floyd Mayweathers in MMA.
It's too diverse, too weird.
Your L's gonna come soon. So, but I mean, not a loss to be ashamed of at all. I'm pretty sure he'll be back, and their lightweight division is actually pretty good too. So
they got some really good talent that they find on the regional scene, Yamauchi, Piccolotti, the dudes fighting on the 84 cards, the 84 card, the 184 card. Steve Cazzola and Carrington Banks, that's a really good fight at lightweight. I like what they're doing.
Shout out to Bellator. Doing not a lot of freak. Well, all right, we had Fedor, but I feel like the freak show aspect of them is not as big as it used to be.
That's because Kimbo's dead.
That is true. R.I.P. That is true. But I feel like a lot of their like legit talent is being showcased now. You still get a little freak fight every now and again, because it wouldn't be Bellator if you didn't. But yeah, like
It would be fun if they did. I'm just saying. It would not be fun.
yeah, I guess every now and then you gotta. I mean, we got the double knockdown with Fedor and Mitrione. As much as I was dreading that fight, I've never laughed so hard in a movie theater after that moment happened. I couldn't believe it. Oh man, but yeah, Bellator, I think they've had a pretty solid year, and they've got some good fights coming up in the fall.
Dude, yeah, their fall schedule is awesome. Besides the Ireland card.
Yeah, good old Gallagher fighting. I don't even know the guy's name. Who's fighting? But yeah, we got Dantes and Caldwell, which God, I've been waiting for this fight for so long, and it's finally like almost here.
Bader Vassell, Emily Ducati versus Ilumile McFarlane for the women's inaugural women's belt flyweight belt. Who am I forgetting? There's a really good card in there that I am. Oh, Gegard Mousasi versus Alexander Shlemenko.
So yeah, they've got some fun fights coming up, man. So continuing a pretty good year. I'd say a great year almost of combat sports. Like a lot of knockouts, a lot of stuff going on, and we still got 3 more months left. So yeah, just a lot of fights this weekend. Really pretty solid card from.
No, I'm just saying, like, we're on a really great stretch.
Then they give us this little
of just like fights.
Little break though. We gotta wait like 2 weeks now.
I mean, if anybody's looking for some boxing, what's his name? We got it's Mike Perez versus is it Mike Perez versus Bria this next week?
Let's see. Oh, my page won't load. We have.
Yes, is Mike Irish Perez, the former Cuban team boxer, who's fighting Maris Bridis of Latvia, and it's one of the World Boxing Super Series cruiserweight quarterfinals, and it's going to be insanely entertaining. Yeah, that's going to be a tremendous fight.
And when is that? Is that this weekend?
That's next Saturday, and you can catch it on the WBSS website. They're airing most of their fights on their website because no TV provider is picking these fights up for some reason. Because there are no American cruiserweights worth following yet.
Well,
which is insane to me.
Well, I'll probably be watching because if I go a weekend and I don't watch fights, it just doesn't feel normal. I feel like I'm missing something. So.
Well, we got Glory next weekend too.
Oh Lord. Who's that? Oh, that's not the Verhoeven fight. Who's that on it?
Vasrulla Smallin and Adam Chuck.
I forgot about that. Oh yeah, because Adam Chuck won the Yeah, didn't they have a tournament?
I don't know if it was a tournament or Adam Chuck is just like. No, he beat Dylan Salvador.
Well, anything with Voss, anything with him I'm watching because the dude is just a tank, a tank in that division. I have no idea who's gonna stop him, but yeah, I'm always down for a fight of his. But we're coming up at about an hour, 55 minutes almost, so about time to do, I guess, parting shots and shout outs. I guess in general, I'm just gonna shout out this entire card. LFA 23, which I rewatch. I watched yesterday on replay. A lot of nasty KOs on this card. I'll save the Sabina for you. But I will. I'll let you have that moment. But I'll mention Peter Stanonik. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And Kendrick Williams. I think that fight kicked off the card, and it was a really, really entertaining fight. And then Peter, I think, caught him with a left hook and face planted him. So that was really nasty. Brian Billiot and Brandon Shavers, which was a fight that Brian seemed like he was on his way to losing, and then came back with a heel hook in round 2. So that was that was pretty nasty. Andrea KGB Lee and Jamie Thornton. Quick note on that fight, I think they said they tried to get like 19 people or some wild number of people to fight KGB Lee, and all of them turned it down. So they were forced. Jamie was the only person who was willing to step in on short notice and fight. And she actually put up a decent fight too. Like, she had competitive moments, but in the end, KGB just kind of got the striking off, but ended up actually winning by Kimura. So yeah, that was an awesome fight. And in the main event, which I only saw 3 rounds of, James Nakashima took the welterweight title from Derek Krantz. Wasn't the most entertaining fight, but shout outs to Nakashima nonetheless. But yeah, this card was really, really good, man. A lot of finishes, a lot of young talent on this card. And speaking of young talent, I'll pass it on to you for this probably the best KO on the card.
Shouts to my fellow Colombian, Sabina Mazo, fighting out of Medellin. I learned how to pronounce that yesterday. Shouts to my coworker. With her second head kick KO, I think, of the year inside the LFA cage. She knocked out Jamie, the woman in the main event. What's her name?
Yeah,
Jamie Thornton. Jamie Thornton. She knocked her out earlier this year. She head kicks Lindsey Williams into oblivion. Literally the exact same kick too. For those who know, sorry, 1 second. There we go. For those who don't know, in her first professional fight, I want to say, Masso beats Alejandra. Is it Leha? I'm sorry. I should probably know this. Sabina Masso. Lara, there we go. Who recently signed with Bellator to fight in their flyweight division, who was considered the top flyweight in Hispanic South America, not including Brazil, where all the obvious best fighters are in that continent. So no, she's only 20 years old, and she's out here getting big wins and highlight reel finishes, and apparently she's training in California now, which is only going to improve or help her improve at a quicker rate. Like, it would not surprise me if she's in the UFC before 2018 rolls around.
Yeah, and that KO was
vicious.
Yeah, definitely, guys, go. If I remember, I might try to leave a link to that. But I mean, yeah, shout outs to LFA in general. And we were talking off air about this. Like, if you guys, I know Access TV isn't on like every cable provider, but if you have Access TV, man, like they put on a lot of events. Like LFA alone has like 3 events a month, and then that's not even including the other Access TV fights you get with. I think they have CES, MMA. Then you get like line fights. So,
if you're a fan of pro wrestling, there's New Japan.
Pro wrestling, yeah, because that always comes on like right before LFA starts.
So yeah, like that, especially LFA, like this was their 23rd card. They've only been around since January. So like they're out here, they're doing shows, they're getting people fights, and that's a beautiful thing.
A quick graphic they showed. I think it was specifically more to the women. A lot, and I mean a lot, of their women have went on to the UFC. Like, they showed a graphic of how many started in the LFA and went on to the UFC, and like all of them are ranked.
Holly Holm, Valentina Shevchenko, Sarah McMahon fought for them, I think, or she fought for like Legacy or something like that. I could just be pulling that out.
Cynthia Calvillo was on there. It was a lot of people.
True. Oh yeah, no, I'm thinking of Titan. Okay. Point being, there's been a lot of women who fought for RFA, Legacy, and LFA who've gone on to do big things in the UFC. Um, some of them, some of them are probably on that tough show that I'm not watching right now.
I don't think LFA had Eric Anders
Uh,
too, who knocked out Natal. Yeah, because he was
yep. So LFA is the place to be if you're a top flight prospect looking for a jumping spot.
So yeah, shout outs to them. So yeah, that'll be my one parting shot. Shout outs to LFA 23, that whole organization. They put on some pretty awesome cards. Really really good at showcasing regional talent.
All right, I got one more before we
All
get
right.
out of here. And I actually kind of got two, but I'm trying to keep it to one. Kika Chavez versus Esmeralda Moreno. So for those who don't know, the WBC has been doing a female light flyweight / flyweight tournament for the past like year and a half. Featuring year. Featuring the best women at light flyweight and flyweight, which are the two best divisions of women's boxing. And we finally getting the finals with the winner getting the WBC Diamond Belt, which is going to be like the fourth woman to ever get it. It's going to be between Jessica Kika Chavez and Esmeralda Moreno. This will be their third fight. Um, they're both 1-1 in the series. They're two of the greatest women's fighters ever, two of the best Mexican fighters ever. It's actually really funny. Esmeralda Moreno announced the day that the tournament was announced, the WBC Diamond Belt tournament was announced. Esmeralda Moreno was there because she had just fought Jessica Kika Chavez for the WBC flyweight title at this sit down conference that the WBC has. She went there to complain about getting a rematch because she felt she was robbed on the cards. She did. I think they were contemplating giving her the rematch, but at the same day they announced this tournament where they wanted to get the best. Their intent to. They announced the tournament. They announced their intent to have a tournament. So they go through this whole tournament process, and Esmeralda Moreno and Jessica Kika Chavez end up fighting each other anyway. And I can't think of a better way to end one of the best trilogies in women's boxing than to have it for the WBC Diamond Belt. So, shouts to them. They'll be fighting next week on Saturday.
Hopefully, is that on like online anywhere or?
It's going to be on Televisa in Mexico. Like, Mexico actually airs their women's fights on like the biggest platform for their boxers, male or women. And from what I understand, Chavez is actually pretty popular, and this is kind of a really big deal down there. Like, this fight was actually supposed to happen last month, but it was booked for the same day as one Mr. Floyd Mayweather and one Mr. Conor McGregor. And Mexico Televisa was like, we're just gonna push you guys back to our next available date.
Smart decision. Unlike Rockhold.
Yeah. But if anybody really wants to watch it, it'll probably be on YouTube literally the next day. So next Sunday, check it out. If you're in Mexico, try and watch the fight. It's gonna be fun. Oh, and quick shout out to Unir Dorticos, who melted Kudryashov in Texas in a fight nobody saw because American TV providers are stupid.
Yeah, I think I saw that highlight on Twitter.
Yeah, no, dude, he melted him.
I gotta go back and rewatch that whole fight though. But yeah, I think I saw somebody post it.
It was only 2 rounds, but yeah, no. Dorticos had one of the best fights of last year. I'm really upset that nobody picked up the fight for TV because that's the type of dude you want on your TV. He is 22-0, 21 knockouts. He has the story. He's a Cuban defect, like or defector, I should say, not defect. That sounds mean. It's just a shame. This fight happened in Texas. Nobody could send like a TV crew down there to go
Right.
like pick it up and like air it on FS1 or something. Like bullshit.
But yeah, it did look pretty nasty. I gotta go back and rewatch that because yeah, people were on my timeline going nuts when that happened. But yeah, so much violence this weekend, so much just beautiful violence, and it's not ending. We got uh, a slight intermission before Bellator and UFC come back. Next time we'll have Tony Ferguson and Kevin Lee. That should be a really interesting card. And then for Bellator upcoming, we got the Dantes and Caldwell fight, and then as you mentioned, be boxing fights in between. So a lot of stuff going on. I guess before we get out of here, as always, you can catch us on SoundCloud, YouTube, Google Play, and you can catch us on iTunes now. It's official. So if you go,
Steve Jobs approves of us
right,
from beyond the grave.
he gave me the blessing that I was looking for. So if you go to iTunes, you want to search the podcast, search Serial Sensei, and then you'll see Dojo Talk Podcast pop up. If you could, please leave a rating, leave a comment. I would really appreciate it.
Only
Right.
positive.
if you're not
Keep your negativity to
anything
yourself.
less than 4 stars, we don't need you. We don't need you over here. So you can. I need the quality Mario stars. Anything below that, I can't accept. But shout out to my homie Pale Moon and my homie Jay for being the first 2 to rate and comment. Really appreciate it. Rest of you guys, if you're listening right now, go to iTunes, type in Serial Sensei, give me a rating, leave a comment, be a good person. That's what it boils down to. If you don't leave a rating, you might not be a good person. So go be a good person. But we're on iTunes. As always, you can like the Dojo Talk Facebook page. Just go to Facebook, type in Dojo Talk Podcast, and you can follow me on Twitter at Serial Sensei. So that's pretty much it for the day. We covered a lot of good fights, more good fights to come, more content to come. Yeah. So I guess until next time, catch you guys later. Hopefully I can stop coughing. We can both get well. We won't be hoofing over the mic next time we record. But as always, anytime people are being punched and or kicked in the face, we will be there to talk about it. And hopefully we catch you guys soon. Peace.